Learn Chess, Play Chess. In this video, we will introduce the chess pieces used to play the game of chess. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe now for more chess videos. Please keep in mind that this will be a short and brief introduction to the pieces as a part of a chess set. Details about each piece used in gameplay, including moves and captures, will be covered in other videos. Although there are many styles for chess pieces, the style used in the Learn Chess, Play Chess videos are influenced by the Staunton chess set. The Staunton chess set is the current standard style used in competitions and influences many retail chess sets. The icons used in these videos differ slightly from the Staunton style. This is done so that they will fit within the square shapes on the graphics for the chessboard used in the videos. A chess set will include a total of 32 pieces that are required to play at the start of the game. The pieces are named white and black even if they are not actually the white and black color. If the pieces are not white or black, they will have two unique colors. This would include one dark color and one light color. Chess is a two-player game. Each player starts with 16 pieces per player. Of all these pieces, only 6 are unique. Again, each of these pieces will be covered in detail in other videos. That being said, we will start with brief descriptions of the pieces and how they relate to each other within a set. The first and most important piece is the king. The king is the most important piece since the object of the game is to capture the opponent's king. The king is the tallest piece in the chess set. At the top of the piece, there is usually a smooth shape to represent a crown. The top and middle of the king's crown may have a cross or other decoration of different styles. The next piece is the queen. The queen is also very important and often referred to as the most powerful piece. The queen is the second tallest piece in the chess set. At the top of the queen, there is usually a crown of multiple points or something styled differently than the crown of the king. For the queen, the top and middle of the crown may have a sphere or another decoration of a different style. The next piece is the rook. The rook is a piece that is easily recognizable. The rook has a shape like a tower of a castle. At the top of the rook, there is usually a wall or even a battlement represented by the gaps at the top, which further reinforce the rook looking like a castle. As a side note that will be discussed in other videos, the castle in chess is not the rook. Instead, the castle refers to a movement with both the rook and the king pieces. The next piece is the knight. The knight is also a piece that is easily recognizable. The knight has the head and the neck of a horse. If the knight is called a horse, it is usually because the appearance or because the translation of the piece name from other languages. The next piece is the bishop. The bishop is recognizable with a water drop shape on the head topped off with a sphere or another decoration. The bishop may also have a cut or a deep groove in the water drop shape on the top. Altogether, the shape on the top of the bishop is said to represent the mitre or traditional headgear of the bishop. The last piece is the pawn. The pawn is recognizable as the shortest piece. With 16 pawns total and 8 for each side, the pawn is also the piece with the greatest quantity. In this view, we have the 6 unique chess pieces listed vertically along with their names. Now we will add a column with algebraic notation. You'll notice that the algebraic notation identifies most of the pieces with the first letter capitalized. You'll also notice that the knight is identified with the letter N capitalized. The letter N is used with the knight most likely because the letter K has already been used for the king and the letter N is the second letter in knight. Another thing you'll notice is that there is no letter used to identify the pawn in algebraic notation. Because there is no letter for pawns in algebraic notation, pawns are usually identified by the square that they end up in during that move. Next, we will look at the relative value scale. For the game of chess, there are no official scores while an individual game is being played. That being said, when communicating about the value of one piece compared to another, a value scale such as this is used. Keep in mind that this is just a basic guideline used to help communication with comparison more than a strict definition. Also keep in mind that during gameplay, many variables such as how many pieces are on the board or the position of those pieces may affect the perception of these values. The practical application of this scale is comparing the values of pieces to make decisions about captures and/or when individual pieces have been captured. Although it is at the bottom of this diagram, we will start with noting that the pawn has a value of 1. Therefore, the pawn and the number 1 will be the baseline to compare the remainder of all the other pieces and their values. Moving back up to the top, the king is given the value of infinity. This value of infinity is given because the object of the game is to capture the king and no other piece can substitute for it or promote to it. Some may use this reasoning to say the value of the king is just non-applicable to the scale altogether. As a side note, keep in mind that in this diagram the use of the symbol infinity is specific to the column for comparing value. This should not be confused with how the symbol for infinity is used in algebraic notation. Below the king, the queen is given a value of 9. The rook is next down and worth a value of 5. Both the knight and the bishop have a value of 3. Some people may assign slightly different values to the knight and the bishop. Even in those scenarios, their value varies by 0.5, and as mentioned previously, the perception of values for all the pieces could change during a game. Again, these values are mostly for comparison of pieces which have been captured or pieces that somebody is considering capturing. Next is the quantity of chess pieces per player. Although it is not usually discussed at the same time, I thought it would be interesting to display the quantity next to the value. Following the quantity is a theoretical column called total value per player. This is a simple column that multiplies the value for the individual piece by the total quantity of pieces per player. Continuing on with this theory, the values for all the pieces add up to a total value of 39. So with the exception of the king, each player has a total value of 39 points for their pieces. As mentioned, individually the value for each piece or comparing just two pieces may be done at the time of the capture. When considering the pieces that are captured during a game, there may be a difference between the two players. A total value of the pieces captured is usually shown on a computer screen or online game. This value would likely be seen for the player with the advantage. This will be outside of the chessboard with a set of small icons and a number with a plus sign. For example, if one player captures a bishop, then the bishop icon with a 3+ will be shown at the top or bottom of the chessboard. So the practical application for this table would likely be seen representing the differences of all the pieces that are currently captured during a game. For games in person or over the table, these values will have to be calculated in the minds of the players while they are looking at the captured pieces on the side of the board for reference. Now moving back from the theoretical, we'll end this introduction to the chess pieces with this view including the icon, name, notation, value, and quantity of the pieces per player. This concludes our introduction to the chess pieces, and there will be more videos to follow. Thank you for watching. As I make new chess videos, I want to share them with you, so subscribe now. Also comment, like, and check out some of the other content on our channel.